Hi, everyone. This is Jessica with Whispers of Grace Healing. I'm here today with Momma Jo to speak about invisible diseases, grief that either the person who is dealing with it or watching it happen. Hey, Erin, how you doing? How you liking Cali? I might actually be going there myself in a few weeks with my aunt. I'm super excited. Hey, Colby. So yeah, I'm glad that people are joining in because I feel like this is going to be another pretty deep. Oh, you're already back in Vegas. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourself. Um, but yeah, it's probably going to be another deep subject because I know I don't talk about it a lot about what my mom has been going through. Hey, Dewey. But she has been having a lot of health issues, and we are those people. Our entire lives we have had weird circumstances with health issues and doctors never knowing what's actually going on or how to even properly diagnose us. And both of us have been through it where a doctor has said, I don't know what to tell you, you're a mystery, that kind of thing. A lot of it does have to do with energetic blocks. A lot of the issues that I used to deal with, and this can go in so many different directions, whether it be some of the things that my mom's going to talk about today, like autoimmune disease, depression, anxiety, bipolar. I have actually been diagnosed bipolar back in my younger days because I was so fucked up in the head. And I used to think it was just situational depression, but in reality, it was because I wasn't living my truth and I didn't have any self-respect or self-love. So it took a lot of trials and tribulations for me to overcome those issues. And now I'm healthier than I've ever been. Now, some of these things we can't necessarily just get rid of by doing the work. Some of these things are karmic and, there's a lot of life lessons in these. Now, even with death, and we'll get into that too, we have a habit of being strong for those people we care about, but not really honoring the emotions that we're going through. So yeah, that's what we're going to be going over today. But I do want to let everyone know before I put Mom on camera that she is having some serious tests done, and she will explain what's going on. But I did want to kind of let everyone know that she does not look her normal self today. So with that being said, you ready?
Here comes the mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know it's not pretty, but it's real, and that's kind of what Jess is all about. So I'm jumping on that train. Currently having a 72-hour EEG, so carrying around my little backpack with 24 wires coming out of my head. And you're on camera too. They're videoing you while you're doing just about everything, even sleeping. So it's been interesting over the past 24 hours. But what really led to this, and I actually had to make a list because brain issues. But I've had issues for a long time. In my 20s when I first had to have a hysterectomy, over the years having my gallbladder out. And I finally had a doctor that paid attention and didn't say, I can't find anything wrong. I think you need antidepressants. I can't tell you how many doctors I heard that from. That makes you want to rage, I'm not depressed. Maybe I probably am going to get depressed from hearing this shit over and over. But I finally had a doctor that listened to me, and I love her and still see her to this day. But about 2014, she decided to run some tests on me, some blood tests that led to saying you got some autoimmune issues going on. And it started with a combination of a I can't even say the word. Basically undetermined connective tissue disorder. I have lupus in the skin. I have part of the lupus antibodies in my blood, but not the second lupus antibody. So it's like I have parts of one disease and parts of another disease. So they're calling it the undifferentiated, but lupus is definitely in there. And the other one I pronounce Sjögren's. I had a doctor the other day pronounce it Sjögren. So I'm not sure what the correct one is. I got added last month fibromyalgia. I've had the thyroid disease for about 10 years. All these different diseases led to complications, and I developed this where I was choking. I did not choke on food. I choked coughing air, it felt like, and liquids. But it led to esophageal dysmobility, where basically it's a narrowing of the esophagus. So you go in and they stretch that out. Another fun procedure. Sleep apnea. I'm now sleeping on the CPAP machine, chronic fatigue system, migraines, and it's just been on and on and on. And I actually had a blackout while driving to work one day. And this was about January. And we've been working on getting these type of tests done. I did an EEG in the doctor's office, and they were definitely seeing some spikes in my left temporal lobes, which could be epilepsy or not. Did not go into a full seizure in the office. And that's why I'm here with this thing hooked up to me for 3 days. So the frustrating parts of it, to the normal person, you don't necessarily look sick, but you hurt so bad. Some days you can't move, and some days you're so tired you don't want to get dressed. I've worked my whole life. I'm only 58, but in February, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was missing, 3 days, some weeks, 4 days, some weeks. And so I'm trying this short-term disability right now. We're going to see where that leads. I hope that I'll go back to work, but I'm not truly convinced that we'll be able to get to that point. And we're just hoping that we get good news. I hate to, at this point, let's add one more thing to the list. But there's a difference, I think, between getting discouraged about the way you feel and frustrated with the fact that, like this weekend, I can't take a shower for 3 hours, and I'm limited to a space of about 2 feet before I pull my head. So even trying to pee is hard, and getting on pants was a real struggle.
But this is real shit, y'all.
You got about an arm's length, and try to get that to the floor and see how far you get. Does not work. So frustration and angst over it, I think, are different than depression. I don't need a pill to help me through this. I fully understand what I'm going through. I got hope that it'll get better. It might not. It might. We're going to deal with it as it comes. In the meantime, I'm staying home and trying to get as much rest as possible. And, it makes you look at the hard things like, we're probably going to give up one of our vehicles, but that'll be okay, because I'll be damned, I'm not driving anywhere but to the doctors, and we'll work that out. It makes you face the portion of it is, shortly, if I'm not working, I'm not going to have insurance, and the medications they have you on are, one of mine $600 a month. I'm just going to say, oh, well, yes, it has helped with the pain, but guess what? We're going to go back to pain, because that's a mortgage payment. Nope. Priorities. So I just want to see if there's anybody else out there that, you get that look. I've wondered almost, should I try to get a handicap parking sticker, or, are people going to look at me funny? But, by the time I go into a store and get back out, I'm exhausted. And people don't realize that about you, that just doing, some days going out to get the mail is all I do. And it makes you feel like you should be doing more. I struggle with that every day, I'll tell you. You think, oh, God, I should be able to clean my house, or, some days I won't even cook dinner. I'll say, sorry, guys, somebody else has got to do it. I can't do it today. So you lose that sense of, you know, you've always been the strong mother provider, and now maybe you're looking at not doing any of it, not providing financially, not being able to provide the home support that if I'm not working, I should be able to keep care of the house. Well, I quit cleaning like 2 years ago, I think. Has it been that long?
Yeah.
It has. And now I'm about to quit cooking. So, you know, it'll be what it is. Take care of me.
But she
at
can't
some point in your
stand up
life,
long,
you know,
like,
you have to take care of
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been falling.
Zoe's in here.
Landed in a whiskey barrel last week, Zoe, on my butt, but I didn't make it all the way to the ground, so that was a good thing. Yeah, but I'm having lots of balance issues and blurred vision and the migraines, and it makes life hard. But sometimes life's hard. So you know what? You keep moving, you keep trying, and my affirmations right now are get this sick ass bitch to the mountains.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. I know I'm going to be sick. I know this is it. It's probably the rest of my life. I've accepted that. Get me on my mountaintop. Let me look out on the mountains in my rocking chair, and I'm going to be happy. I might start cooking dinner for you every night then, you know, but I do. I want to get to that peaceful place. I am thankful for what I got here, but I think it's that time. You know, none of us know how much life we have left. But when you start looking at this, it does really make you face it a little bit more. Of course, any of us could get hit by the proverbial bus tomorrow. So, I mean, you don't know, but you do plan. And I'd like to have some good years, you know, being that retired in the mountains and being where I feel the best. And that is where I feel the best. So maybe it's finding your happy place within you. There's a lot of diets out there. People say, you know, go to the gluten-free or paleo or keto, or I also got diverticulitis in there. So that throws that I can't do the nuts. A lot of the greens, not. So it puts you in a hard position, especially when you have several. I got this cookbook I looked through the other day. Well, there's a different diet for lupus. There's a different diet for fibromyalgia. There's a different diet for everything. And you're like, well, wait a minute. How do I put all these into one diet that's best for me? And so I just quit doing it, and we eat what feels good to us. If we have something that doesn't sit right, then we don't eat it. But if we don't have any after effects, then hey, yeah, that's one for the list. Let's keep that on there. Are trying to be somewhat healthier, but within that, there's so many different restrictions that you can't just go full scale one way. We did the 30-day Mediterranean one time.
Awesome.
Love that. Yeah. And that's the good olive oils and that kind of stuff. But find what makes you happy, and somewhere in that you get that peace that makes you feel better, even though you feel like shit most of the time. And I'm not gonna lie, pain most days is a big deal. But if anybody saw my other video, then you know I'm scared to death of drugs. So I'm not going that route. I will go on something that tries to do the nerve inhibitors, and that's what I'm on now, the Lyrica, and it is helping with a lot of that, of the, you know, electrical sensations that you get all over your body that just, you know, you feel like you can't get away from. It's like hot ants crawling on your legs or something. And the Lyrica is helping that, but when it comes to a financial issue, I'll quit it and go back to ibuprofen. And I know not everybody can do that. I made that choice. I might be a little better off if I could take a pain pill every day, but I'm too scared of it. I don't want to end up addicted to it. I know it's a very real possibility. We got heavy addiction in our family, and they're so addictive anyway that I just choose to fight through the pain. That's probably not the best way to be. I'm a stubborn old bat. She'll tell you that one. But you got to do you still got to do you, is what I'm telling you. Do you within it. don't let somebody who looks on the internet and reads something and tell you this is what you need to do. You need to do what makes you feel good. And only you know that. So even in the midst of pain and unknown, you stay true to yourself, and it'll be okay.
So I want to read you some of these comments. You're getting so much love right now, Mama. But I also want this to bring awareness, to be a little more compassionate too. When it comes to people in your lives, you have no idea what they're really going through. And I can tell you just from my own experience, when I was going through the endometriosis, it was terrible. The depression that I went into after my separation, you're the only one that saw how bad it really was. We put on a very tough exterior, but in reality, we're very, very emotional and deep people. So it's very hard for us to feel like we're helpless or, and that was one of my things. I ended up breaking down just last week. Was it last week? It was last Wednesday, yeah, it was last Wednesday. And, she's just been having so many issues, and I was trying to be strong for her and just try to keep that positive space for her. But then after everything went down, it was just like, I broke. And it's like, I don't know what to do for her in this moment. And Erin hit it very much on point with her comment, but
and that was a drive in the day.
Yeah,
drive in the woods day for me.
Carisha said, wow, you're so courageous. You guys are so inspiring and strong. Thank you for doing this. Erin said, love your real and raw life.
Oh, thank you.
Erin said, Jess, I love how you look at your mother. You're so proud of her, and I see how protective you are when people aren't looking. You're great people, real people. Douglas said, you are the Scorpio, you are the Phoenix. So stop the sobbing. I will pray double duty. This Scorpio has your back. Erin also said, you're worth more than money and bills. Do what it takes to be okay. You'll get through this. Alternative healing methods. Try your options. Zoe says she loves and misses you. And
come see me sometimes, though.
Yeah, Douglas also said, plus, you know what? If there is someone who can beat this, let me tell you something. It is you.
And we are like that. We are. I mean, and the protectiveness of you over me, it's the same way, Things happen. Sometimes she don't call Mama because she don't want Mama coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's fierce, man. Erin did say that we should try the black seed CBD oil for you. So we'll have to look into that.
I've got one, but I'm not sure what kind it is. But I have started that.
Yeah, no, we know we are not alone. And this is why we wanted to share it with y'all, because listen, a lot of people look at her and, even close people, and forget to have that empathy for what she's going through, because on the outside, some days she looks fine, but you can really tell when we're not feeling well, because our eyes tell it all. Colby knows. He calls me out on it all the time. But there are stuff that we battle without telling anyone, and it's been a really rough road for her lately. And
I'm terrible. I'll ask somebody to do something, and then 5 minutes later I do it. And they're like, why are you doing this? I said I would do it.
Or she complains all morning about not feeling good, and then she's trying to blow the porch off. And it's like, woman, I don't feel like cooking dinner. But then 5 minutes later, she's at the stove. Like, okay, stop.
Well, it's that learning what you have to do versus what you need to do. And it's hard. I struggle with it every day.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, listen, she is one of the most strongest women I have ever known in my life. And she has no idea how to say no or sit her ass down. When she broke her ankle, so mind you, she's dealing with 2 bad ankles. She broke one like straight across, has plates and screws in one. She was in a wheelchair for several months, and then using a walker, a cast, a boot, all that fun stuff. And I would come home after work, and she would be at the stove, like stirring a pot of spaghetti. And it's like, Jesus, woman, or trying to get out the back door so she could get a smoke. Like, you were in a wheelchair. Why can't you just wait? This woman can be insufferable sometimes when it comes to her I can do it by myself attitude. But I get that from her too. Like, I remember when my grandfather died, he was the glue for our family, and we were all distraught. And me and Mom have always been those people in our family to step up when no one else really wanted to or couldn't emotionally. And we were the ones that were taking care of everything and making sure that everyone else was good. We went weeks without processing our own grief for the situation until it was just finally all over. And the moment that we felt we could take a breath, we both broke down. Like, it was a mess. And most of the time, me and her can balance off each other very well. When you're not feeling strong, I'm there, and vice versa. But in that moment, we were both a fucking mess. And it was really one of those moments like, well, who's gonna hold us up, you know?
Grief counseling.
Grief counseling. And we got the help where we needed it. And you know, thankfully, even with my endometriosis, Mom, you know, she wasn't actually diagnosed with it, but she was pretty sure herself that she went through it too, because she ended up having to have. You had the hysterectomy at 30, what, 1?
No, 32? It was 2 years after you were born, so I was 29.
29. Okay, so still in your 20s. Yeah, so I had mine at 26. She had hers at 29, and there's been a long family history of women in our family not either being able to conceive or having miscarriages, that kind of thing. And it's been a real struggle for all the women in our lives, but most of the time, everyone just looked at me like I was a normal kid, or, you know, why is she missing so much school? Why are you missing so much work? Why do you have to take a whole week off just because you're having your cycle? Because I was in excruciating pain. There is one time in my life where she was having to take me to the hospital every single month because my blood pressure would go through the roof because of the pain. No one knew. They just knew that I wasn't feeling well, but they had no idea what I was actually going through. Then with the depression and anxiety on top of that, I was going through some very toxic relationships at the time and didn't really have a good sense of self. So when I started going to therapy and stuff like that, and listen, I'm going to be real, I was very suicidal many times in my life. And I've been in inpatient therapy. I've been in outpatient therapy, and they diagnosed me bipolar. And like, it made me feel even crazier because it's like, well, you know, I understand that there's these, you know, highs and lows, but I mean, I'm going through some really tough shit right now, and everyone couldn't see it because I have this chameleon aspect where I'm around people and it's like, I'm good. You ask me how I'm doing, I'm okay. I'm good. And then I get home and I'm like, I can't even keep my eyes open. I just want to sleep for days. You know, I was taking it out on people that didn't really deserve it. So yeah, there's a lot of things that people go through that don't necessarily show on the outside. You break your arm and, you know, that's in a cast. People know you're hurting, but people don't always know what's going on internally, especially when it comes to the autoimmune diseases or the diseases that people can't see. And most people wouldn't even know that she's going through this right now, but we decided to share it with y'all. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
And you're talking about the misdiagnosis.
Oh, yeah.
The misdiagnosis of your bipolar. Yeah. The misdiagnosis of me for probably 15 years of, you know, get on the antidepressants and you'll be fine, you know. Luckily, I fought that one. With Jess, I mean, we just didn't know what to do. We wanted to get you better. But you realize she starts taking these drugs and they're not working, and every medicine they ever put her on caused a different side effect, that then she's on medicine for that, and by the time you've developed bladder problems and heart problems, and they're telling her she'd have to be on heart medicine the rest of her life, and this kid don't take a pill today, let me tell you. So you know, some of the stuff, the medicine they'll put you on can do more damage
Yes.
than not taking the medicine. So that's a big thing to weigh out too. Like, is this, like, you know, you see some of them, the list of side effects is, you know, cancers and stuff. Nope, thanks. I'd rather hurt.
Right.
You know, I got a hot tub. I can get in the heat therapy when I need to, do what I need to try to get some relief from that. But taking something that's could possibly give me cancer, no, thank you. And seeing her firsthand go through those different drugs, given those different side effects, it makes it very real.
So Jennifer actually says that she was diagnosed with Lyme disease. My Momma Jo actually has several autoimmune diseases, and if you go back to the beginning of the video, she's listed everything already.
Right.
But one of the biggest ones that I think affects you is the lupus.
Right. I don't have Lyme. I have been tested for it twice just to make sure that you know, wasn't part of it, because the one thing about autoimmune, so many of them, they mimic each other. You got your rheumatoid arthritis, your lupus, your fibromyalgia, Lyme disease. I can't even think of the other ones. Juvenile RA, and you know, it's a lot of the same symptoms. The pain in 7 or more of your pressure points. The knots and swelling you get in your joints. You know, the fatigue, all that, almost every one of them, if you look up symptoms, has the same things. And that's why they have such a hard problem diagnosing. And even with my lupus, I've had times where I was seeing one rheumatologist, my first one, and she's like, yep, tests are all positive. I got printout and everything. These diseases can go into remission. I started with a new rheumatologist, and all of a sudden my ANA is negative. And he's like, well, I don't think you have this. I got that other doctor's paperwork real quick and said, look, here's proof. But he had to explain to me that sometimes these go into remission. So unless you're having that low period, or I don't even know what the word they use for it when it's not remission, when it's active, I guess, you might test positive. So you could go for years undiagnosed just because by the time you go to your regular doctor and they think that it's, you know, you're in this terrible low point, let's get you over to a rheumatologist. Well, they'll take 6 weeks to see you. So by the time you get over there, you might have come up a little bit, and then you're getting a false diagnosis just because at that particular week you didn't test positive, when in another month you might. So it's very scary with the autoimmune, and you have different opinions even between the rheumatologist community. Right now I'm getting in with all the neurologists and the psychoneurologists that delves deeper into your brain, since I'm only having problems in that left lobe. They're trying to figure out why. It's not the whole brain, it's just this one part. And he had actually done a study on lupus for one of his papers in college. And so I was like, oh, good, you know, somebody who's going to understand. And he was. And I said, well, you know, why would my 2 rheumatologists disagree? And he said, it's like that anywhere you go, that a lot of this is, you know, so much of it is based on just the symptoms, that the doctors have a differing opinion if the blood work is not always conclusive. So I can say, if you're experiencing these problems and you go and they tell you, you know, it's nothing, it's in your head, keep pushing. Tell your primary care, it didn't work out with this doctor, send me to another one. I've done that. I'm on my second rheumatologist just because the first one didn't click with me. I walked into her office and she's like, well, your other doctor ran the wrong test, but it did earn you a visit with me. And I was like, nope, I'm paying you. I didn't earn a visit, you know, and saying my other doctor was wrong when after 15 years, she's the one who's finally come to the right conclusion. No, don't badmouth her. that's
we're very
that's the
protective of her,
protective
too.
thing again. So I saw her for a little bit, and then I'm like, you know, send me to somebody else. And I like my new one. So it's finding the doctor that fits with you too. For my primary care, it took me a lot of years to find one that truly listens to you and wants to go that extra mile and say, look, I'm going to figure out what's wrong with you. We're going to get this. You need an advocate. You know, you don't need ones that allow your 15 minutes a visit. It ain't going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. You've got too many symptoms. We ended up with one. She's not in a practice. She's got her own thing. She's a one-man shop, and I love her. She takes the times with her patients. You don't feel hurried. You know, she's there for each individual. I have her cell phone number, if that tells you anything.
Yeah,
you know?
she's been my doctor
Yeah.
since I was 16.
Yeah.
So she's actually been with me
Yeah.
since my very first love and everything that I went through with him. And she actually helped me through a lot of that stuff. But then when she moved away, I was heartbroken. She ended up coming back in town. I saw her picture in a magazine. I was like, we have to go back.
Yep.
And we've been with her ever since. And it's because she does take that time. She really cares about her patients. And sometimes you can't always have the greatest front desk people that, you know, really make sure they're taking the time to get back to the clients or whatever. And so she just ended up saying, like, listen, y'all are basically family. Here's my number. If you need me, reach out. And that's what has earned the most respect with her, because again, it's been so long. She's always been there, and she does whatever it takes to figure out what's going on. So,
and she doesn't throw pills at it. She does not want to throw pills at it. She wants to figure it out. So there's so many that'll just say, here, I can tell you at one time I was on 16 medications. And I put them into a makeup bag. And I took them into my rheumatologist, and I dumped them out on the table. And I said, I quit all of them 30 days ago. Let's figure out what I need. And I figured out I need my thyroid medicine, because I crashed real bad after that. I have to have the thyroid medicine. That regulates so much of this too. And if you got a bad thyroid, you know, it mimics the autoimmune. You're so tired, you can't even think, you know. So I need that one. And I take a couple for the autoimmune now, but I'm down to 4 medications a day, and that's it.
So T Rose Lover asked, do you need iodine? What is that?
Salt.
Oh.
Basically salt. Okay. Yep. And and one of the things that I keep finding is, even though and I'm not doing it right now, I'm not taking care of myself, I admit it. You know it, because Larry gave you my pack last night, but I was taking the multivitamins, and I do with this get low B and D deficiencies a lot. So I actually have to take prescription vitamin D from time to time just to get me back up there. We're trying to get it through food, but I will take a B12 supplement or something when I feel myself particularly no energy. But yeah, I don't think the iodines come up where that's been a problem. But we do not use salt very much. I have a lot of trouble with swelling. My face is swollen. My ankles were so swollen too bad. So what was it, 2 nights ago? I actually had rolls in my ankle from the swelling. So I try to kind of stay away from the salt if we can.
So Jennifer is also asking, have you tried to take a holistic approach? And we have tried food. We do Reiki sometimes. We should probably do it more. We should do it more. The Reiki does seem to help her a lot when she's going through the flare-ups, where she's just in so much pain. She's emotional, and you know, Mom's not an overly emotional, like, outwards person. So, you know, when she's crying because she's in pain, like, shit's wrong. So,
okay. So my husband actually told the doctor last week, we were in seeing a doctor where they made him come with me, and we were talking about this emotion, this crying thing. he goes, I swear she didn't cry the first 5 years we were married. He goes, this woman does not cry. Now all of a sudden she's crying. So, you know, we're in the car one day and he's like, where the hell's this emotion thing coming from? And I'm like, I sent her a little emoji, like the look on your face when your husband said, because
it'd be the perfect meme.
Why would you say to a crying woman, what the hell's wrong with you? Well, hell, if I knew, I wouldn't be crying. And T Rose no, I have actually, my blood pressure is always normal. Sometimes in my low spots, it goes real low, like 60/90, but I'm pretty much a 110/70 most all times. And I have a real low temperature. My temperature in the morning is usually around 95.3. That comes along with the lupus and the thyroid sometimes as a low body temperature. So I see a general slowing down of the body. This is going to be TMI to some of y'all, but I mean, it affects your organs too, and you don't realize it. And some days I freaking pee on myself like 5 times a day. And then I'll have 2 weeks where I have no issues at all. And then one day I wake up and I can't get from the bed to the bathroom fast enough. So it affects the internal organs too. It's basically the inflammation gets in your organs. So it is something that, you know, unfortunately there's no cure for right now. Hopefully they'll get that together. But it's all an inflammation based type disorder.
Yeah. So again, you know, you just never know what people are going through. And, you know, I think it brings us back, because a lot of the messages that have been coming through, especially the last few weeks, is about just holding that space for those you care about. And, you know, make sure you're not projecting your own fears, and because you don't fully understand what they're going through, just be compassionate, be empathetic, and don't assume. Because listen, when I moved out of Ashley's, I felt like it was one of those things that I needed, but she needed too. And I just didn't realize it, because as soon as I moved back home, all of her health issues started worsening, and she needs me as much as I need her. And
I had pushed to the breaking point.
Yeah,
I did. I pushed to the breaking point.
She's always been like that too. So, you know, listen to your intuition. Don't feel bad about being in situations that might not be ideal, but it's absolutely necessary. And just be there to support those that you care about, because they need you more than they think, even when they're a pain in the ass and stubborn as hell. So, you know, a good lesson is to continue to be in that space and support, and know when to receive it.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I said, you know what? You never know how long you got left. Live each day to the fullest. Right. I said, if I got 10 years, let's fucking rock those last 10 years. Woo! Yeah. Road trip, something. Do something that makes you happy. That Wednesday she had a breakdown. I got in the car and rode in the woods for 4 hours. I did. I went places, roads I haven't ridden down before. They're beautiful. You got the oak trees canoping over the road, and it's peaceful and zen, and you just roll down the windows and crank up the music and be thankful. Be thankful.
I feel like this weekend might call for one of those trips. I just feel like,
well, it's not like I can do much.
Yes, but I can drive. And my new truck.
I drove home from the doctor, but it was a little tricky.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
because it's a very short. Yes, it's a very short span for her with this thing connected. So
in this unicorn,
it's something. Yeah. So just to let everyone know, that's why she didn't get on earlier this week, because she's been having a lot of issues, and she still decided to get on today and share what's been going on with her. So again, know that people may be struggling and you might not know it. And again, just hold that space, be within your heart, and give that. There's got to be an equal of giving and taking, right? Or giving and receiving. So, yeah. And it's very hard for me to see her like this. So y'all know me. Usually I have a very strong composure, but yeah, I did. I broke. And, it is very hard to see someone, because listen, me and my mom have like an extraordinary relationship, and we've always been really close, but it's always been really hard for both of us to watch each other struggle, and we try to be as strong as we can, but sometimes we have to honor those emotions and what we're actually feeling too. So,
let it go.
you know, but again, too, I want to say, especially with the theme of not knowing how long you have, right? Life can be so short. You never know when your moment's going to come. Watch, you know, because I have a certain situation that's popping up for me, and, you know, I don't feel like this person has long, but they've almost become very, I don't want to say bitter, but, you know, they're outwardly acting out towards the people who are trying to care for them. And just remember, if today is your last day, is that really how you want it to go down? Is that the last message you want your kids or your spouse to hear? So make sure that you realize what is actually happening. Be there and just give as much love as possible, and don't sweat the small stuff, man, because the small stuff doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because this is where it's at, and love is what it should be. So thank you. But yeah, it's a very important thing that we should remember, and just being and loving and understanding as much as we possibly can. So,
and it takes zero time. I keep just remember to be humble and kind.
Right.
You know, I don't walk out of a store anywhere without saying, have a great day.
Right.
Whether I'm at the doctor or the public, it doesn't matter. You smile at people when you go through the line. You know, you see somebody struggling, you stop and help them to their car. You do the right thing, and you keep your heart space real that way. I think, you know, just a friendly smile saying, "Hey, have a good day, guys."
Yeah.
You know, somebody you don't know, there might be somebody there that's that isn't, that then they go, "Wow, she don't even know me."
Right.
But she hopes I have a good day.
But you don't.
You know? You don't have to know them.
And listen, you know, and I feel like Judy's stepping in right now, but it's taking me back to this memory of when a very dear family friend of ours passed away, and it was very unexpected. When we showed up at the hospital, and I saw this woman bawling her eyes out in front of the hospital, and I had no idea who this lady was, but we were already a mess because we knew what was coming and what had already happened. Our intuition was already telling us she was gone. But I couldn't walk past this lady, and I just reached my hands out to her, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I just lost my sister, and I don't know what to do." And I'm going to try not to cry. And it was just like, I'm praying for you, and I honor the space, and I hope you're going to be okay, and I get it. And
I looked at you when you walked away and said, like, "God, you got such a kind soul."
Yeah.
You know.
And didn't even realize that it was our friend's sister
until about 10 minutes later, when she walked into the room we were in.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God.
Yeah. And I was totally like so focused on her that I just couldn't. I saw her when I pulled in. I, you know, passed her on the way to parking, and then walking into the hospital, I just couldn't. I was just like, she needs this energy, and she needs this support. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, she walked into the same room, and it's like, wait, what? How did we not recognize her? And it didn't even register as I was like even looking in her face. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've known this woman almost my whole life, and I just haven't seen her in so long. It didn't hit me, but you know, and I believe that was Judy allowing me to be there for her, and also for my friend Chelsea, because me and Chelsea weren't even on talking terms then. And it's like, I don't care if we ain't talking or not. You're my fucking sister. I'm going to be here for you. I love you. you know, and no matter what we've ever been through, we've always been more like sisters. And that's the thing that I always loved about Judy too, because no matter how insufferable me and Chelsea were throughout our lives and bickering and going through our, you know, on and off again phases, she always treated me with the most kind respect. She ended up marrying me and my ex-husband, and I always said that I wanted her to marry me and my significant other like she did for my parents. And my mom and my stepdad were married by her as well, and it's like I wanted that to continue. And even though my marriage didn't work out, it was such an honor to have her there that day and for us to share that moment, because it was beautiful. But yeah, and then she ended up passing away like what, the next year. Yeah. So it's like no wonder. So yeah, it's one of those things, like no matter what, you just got to continue to be a good person. And I did see a comment, I can't remember who said it, if it was Rebecca or not, but fake it till you make it. And listen, that used to be my theme. But the problem is we can't fake it anymore. You can only fake so much, but you're not really dealing with the issues. And that was my problem. Before I got with my husband, I was using that motto my entire life. Like, you know, fuck you look what you missing, fake it till you make it. I pretended to have all this confidence that I really didn't have. And I wasn't dealing with any of the underlying issues, which ended up leading to, you know, a failed marriage. And it, you know, and listen, there is no animosity anymore, because if it weren't for that relationship in general, I would not be where I am now. I wouldn't have this self-love and self-respect and knowing my purpose, which is the biggest fucking deal for me, and being able to share my gifts and my love with people who honestly want it. And that's beautiful in itself. So you know, I don't feel like I have to hold back anymore or, you know, fake till you make it. No, I already made it. I already made it.
You're on it. It's my glow stick.
Had to just be snapped and shaken for a few years, but you know, it is. And it took me a long time to get here and a lot of fucking work, y'all. But it was worth it. Every ounce of pain was worth it. And I honor all those past heartaches. I honor all those misdiagnoses. I honor the pain and the testing and everything that I had to go through to get to this point where I am in full glory. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know where this is going to go, but I'm on the ride. I'm, you know, buckled in and ready. Woo! Going for the touchdown, y'all. But it is, and we have to face a lot of shit to get there, and it never stops. That's the beautiful thing in it. I've heard that quite a bit. Well, how many more tests do we have to go through? And I used to ask that too. No, those tests will never stop. Okay. And we just have to embrace it, move through it, and know that, like, even with Mom's issues, she has pushed herself her entire life down to the bone, not only giving for other people, but pushing herself with all of her jobs, even if they were like just dead end jobs. She didn't even, it wasn't like you were really going to go anywhere in those positions, but she always put her hardest 100% effort into those jobs, to the point where they almost broke her. And Spirit had to tell her, no, bitch, you need to slow down. And so now it's here. And I honestly, 100% faith, know that this is just one of those pushes to get to the mountains and be where you want to be in order to feel happy and successful and be in your space, because it's meant for us. And I completely agree with you that every time we're in the mountains, we feel home, and that's where we're being called to. It's where we feel the most ourselves, and it's just one step. It's just a step.
I can step out on that mountain. It's almost like I can hear the drums beating in my head. And then you know, it's like back to the earth. And I don't know. I mean, we have a wonderful backyard here. We have a lot of trees and stuff, and it's nice.
Yeah.
But
once you step outside of
but
this.
It's the concrete jungle around us. That you know, the set of apartments here, right there, the hospital right there. You don't realize how close it is with all these trees, but really, it's 40 feet that way. Yeah, you're in public, so I'm looking for a little less noise. Yeah.
Especially not living right across the street from the hospital. But I will say that being right across the street did save Larry from a massive heart attack.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing. Hopefully we won't have to do that anymore. That was a very scary night for us too. And you know, I was actually going through a lot of my health issues, the heart issues, the same time he was, and I ended up having to tell Mom too, like, listen, you don't realize how the heat affects us until you're going through that and have those heart problems, because it was literally like the humidity here would take my breath away. No. I'm sorry.
Get that out of there. Oh, how nice. Thank you for doing that.
But yeah, I remember this one. We don't want that one in here. So
see, I want to freak out on the trolls, and she tries to.
Yeah, no.
What
listen,
did my birth start? What did my birth chart say the other night about?
Oh, I can't even remember.
My mind trying to control my violent emotions.
Yeah, it was something along those lines. Listen, and there are certain times where I know that if I would have, I would have honestly like let her just go to town. And I can't. I've come to this. Hey, Melissa. I've come to this point where it's like I know when to call on her and when to not, because she will go batshit crazy on someone. So you really want to see an angry bitch.
Mess with my child.
Yeah, she's super protective, y'all. Which it goes both ways. We're fierce. But yeah. So anyway, that's kind of really what we just wanted to talk about, and just to bring that awareness and allow everyone to come to this space of you're not alone, and don't feel like you're alone when you're going through these things. You can ask for help. You can receive it. You don't have to be strong all the time. You can honor those feelings of grief going through situations that are tough for anyone. And if you need help, reach out for help. You don't have to go through this alone. So but yeah, so yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this session today, and yeah, is there anything else?
Hang in there.
Yeah. Hang in there.
Keep the faith, stay positive, keep hope.
Yeah,
and keep that humble and kind attitude that you don't even realize just by smiling at somebody you're paying it forward.
Oh yeah,
you really are. And that comes back. You put that good karma out there and it all comes back.
Oh, it all comes back.
It might not come back in the way of medical issues, but it comes back to you for peace in your heart. And that takes you places you would have never imagined. So
yeah,
keep up the good work, guys. Love talking to y'all. And I'll try to pop on here one day again next week.
All right. Bye, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And if anyone does see this video or needs to see this video, make sure that y'all like and share it. Send it to someone that you feel this may help. And if anyone does have any questions for Momma Jo, you can email me at whispersofgrace1016@gmail.com, or drop us a comment, because I will screenshot them and send them her way. And I let her know everything that y'all say, so she is not missing out on anything and all the love that y'all have to share. So know that we are with you always. We wish you much love and many blessings, and keep doing your thing and being the amazing beings that you are. So with that, I will say good day, and I love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.